Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined Missy as she travels the Vortex and arrive at episode 502, where alliteration trumps accuracy every single day. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
Pretty good now that I know the show's coming back. I mean, I was worried. I was worried that we weren't going to get any more Doctor Who ever.
Ever again.
Ever again.
It could have been a disaster.
Hey, who's seen Venom Let There Be Carnage?
Nope.
Darn.
I read about the post-credit scene.
I was going to say, you probably should go see it before you see any more Marvel films.
I need to see the last two Marvel films before I see any Marvel films.
Wait, you didn't see Black Widow or Shang-Chi?
Not yet.
Well, you have Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Widow's coming.
We just haven't had time to... It came out Wednesday.
Oh, I was going to say, it's coming Wednesday, but it was last Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. And then Shang-Chi is in November, so...
Do we know when in November?
The 9th, I believe?
Okay, we might just be a little late getting to the Eternals then.
Whatever Disney Day is, Disney Plus Day is, I think that's the 9th. I think it's November 9th.
I thought it was the 5th, but I could be very wrong.
Well, that could be too, but...
they're not going to be the 5th of November. November 12th.
12th, so
We're both wrong.
that'll be Disney Plus Day.
Yeah, and Eternals comes out before that, doesn't it? Darn.
All right, well, Venom was a good movie, and Venom Let There Be Carnage was twice as good.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the special effects, the CGI was a bit hinky in places, but for the most part, everything looked really good. And I think Sean's the one that said this last time when we were talking about Venom, that the only person in the movie that knew they were doing a comedy was Tom
Hardy.
I almost said Holland. It was Tom Hardy.
I did say that.
This time, everybody realizes it. And so the chemistry and the jokes land better and everything. And Tom Hardy goes above and beyond, even more so than he did in the last one. And that also makes this film better, because where he's shown in the last one and just carried the film, he did it twice as much this time, and everybody else caught up to him. So,
good.
Yeah, so good praise. And I won't say anything more because you guys need to see it. Okay.
We were hoping to get out. Mel was working the Ray Lana's consignment sale this past week. Well, 2 weeks. And so I had Shy, and she was at the mall, and it just kind of was like, yeah, it's not happening anytime soon, because I'm leaving work early to pick Shy up from the bus stop, and there goes our matinee. So we were hoping maybe this week we'd be able to get out and catch both Let There Be Carnage and No Time to Die. But I'm still not sure that's going to happen. So life is putting a definite dent in my movie going. I'm not happy about this.
All right. Well, did you guys do anything fun? All right. Well, then.
we visited a pumpkin patch out in Alma. And for those of you with little kids, Keith, I strongly recommend it.
Okay.
Tons and tons and tons of stuff kind of geared at them. They had slides and swings and climbing up on hay bales and one of those big... inflated bounce jumper things. Not a house, but normally you put them out in the lake and you bounce off of them.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those, but it was buried there on the property, and actually looked a lot like the thing. You remember that scene in Flash Gordon where Flash is running through Arbor and he falls down in the muck and then crawls out and he lays there for a minute, and then this green trash bag kind of inflates underneath him and the tentacles come out and poke him down into the muck.
Yeah.
It looked just like that, except without the tentacles, and it was orange instead of green. Kids loved it.
Jim, I might like that if it's not an enclosed thing. We went to Cider Days and she wanted to do the bounce house until she realized she had to get inside of it and there were other kids and it was confined. So she changed her mind.
Yeah, no, this is an open air thing.
Nice.
but just half hour away in Alma. So
We're going to go to the Sunset Zoo this weekend because they have an albino wallaby that just was born.
I saw that on the news.
So maybe we'll swing by over there afterwards.
I recommend it. Lots to do.
All right, well, let's talk about the news. Big news this week.
Doctor Who is still not on.
For a couple more weeks.
For now.
Until Halloween.
Halloween!
Do you think they chose Halloween because it's going to be a super spooky episode, or is that just good timing?
No, I bet there was some calculated choice in there because Halloween's actually on Sunday, and they've been doing Doctor Who on Saturday, right? Or
last 2 years it was on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
I believe all of Jodie Whittaker has been Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. So I think it's probably happenstance that it fell that way, but I also think because they're playing up this whole flux angle, I think that's probably, I think they're counting on it being a particularly spooky episode. So
will it be a Halloween special?
Well, if they mention Halloween or Halloween has something to do with the episode, then yes, it's a Halloween special. Otherwise, no.
Oh. Just airing on Halloween isn't a good enough reason?
No.
Yeah.
That's why I refuse to call, well, actually, I think both of them had something to do with New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve anyway. Both the last two specials they did.
I don't know if it's part of the master plan or not, but if you figure, Doctor Who airs on Halloween, and there's 8 episodes in the season, the last episode will air on the 19th of December, and the next week is, what's that holiday?
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, that one. So maybe we'll get a Kwanzaa special.
Oh, you're thinking the last episode will be Halloween or be Christmas? I don't think so.
No, I'm wondering if we won't actually get even another, quote unquote bonus episode the following week because it would be the week of Christmas.
That would be a massive curveball from Chibnall because he doesn't like the Christmas special idea. That's why he does his on New Year's Day. So that would be a massive curveball if they did do that.
Just throwing that out there is rampant speculation.
It feels like it's been so long then that
It does feel like it's been a long time.
Wow, that's... Well, finally.
Anybody remember the last time we reviewed a new episode?
Well, it would have been New Year's, right?
Thereabouts.
1/1/2021, so it was this year.
So 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
I guess we reviewed it on the 4th of January of this year.
Yes.
Is that all?
10 months ago.
10 months ago. We've only gone 10 months without Doctor Who. That's not bad.
Now I feel lesser for having complained so much.
Still feels like a long
only
time.
10 months.
Still feels like
it's
a long time.
It's not like I'm over here waiting for new episodes of The Orville. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but 10 months in 2021 in dog years is,
It's pandemic years.
Pandemic years. They're longer.
Yeah.
And I don't feel so bad.
Equal years.
Right. All right, well, let's do our reviews. What's up first, Keith? Well, let's do our reviews of Missy Series 1 and from Big Finish. And Keith, what's the first one?
A Spoonful of Mayhem. In a spot of bother in Victorian London, Missy is forced to take on governess duties. But she has another scheme in mind, and her charges are simply in the way. She's going to have to teach the children some rather harsh lessons about getting what you want. And there will be tears before bedtime.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, too.
This was a good start to the box set.
I'll go beyond that. It was a great start to the box set. I adored just about everything in this. The very cheeky way that, of course, we've all made the Mary Poppins comparison. And so to just kind of take that and lean into it really hard. I just loved it.
Not even lean into it really hard. Just pay homage to it completely.
Even down to the point where the Missy theme song at the open. I don't know if anybody else felt this way. Maybe just me reading too much into things, but it almost felt like a very bombastic reorchestration of Spoonful of Sugar or Chim Chim Cheree. It had elements of those Mary Poppins songs.
Yeah, even before like the story got to Mary Poppins-esque stuff, the theme I did feel kind of had a Mary Poppins feel to it too.
I don't think I don't think the music elicited any amount of Mary Poppins for me. I mean, I'll have to go back and listen to it and see what you guys heard, but I didn't. Yeah, that didn't. Not for me. Gosh, no, I really, really liked it. I thought it was a really good start. I think what works really well for it is it's a simple story. It doesn't get too complex. I think both that and the next one that we'll review have that going for it, is that it gives us time to get reacquainted with Missy as a character, to get acquainted with Missy presumably prior to Capaldi's last year. What series was that? I've lost track. Series
definitely seems like it. 10?
Yeah, and so it feels like that Missy that we've kind of had prior to the attempted redemption that she's gone through. I love the fact that they've set up a different villain in each one of these so far, and this one particularly having the wardens, which are basically, I guess, an interstellar, not really even a prison, but yeah, so somewhat. And she has to adhere to by certain rules, and they keep an eye on her, and then she turns it on them, at the end. Having the whole story be surrounded by the device of her locating this certain object so that she can use it against them. Not to mention also she gets somewhat close to the kids in the process, which impressed me, because she can be, quite cold and devious, and she makes the references about, well, maybe I won't kill you, and those kind of things, ha ha ha, and joking with the father at the beginning. But you when she says things like that, it's that whole play on, or it's Missy being Missy, but there's also that hint of malice in it, and you always recognize that from Missy, and which is something I've always liked about the character. That is, as lighthearted and as jovial as she often seems, she has a very deep, dark side, and she is scary. She's scary because of it. And so to see her, she doesn't. Warm up to the kids might be maybe exaggerating, but she certainly has an appreciation for them. And they, in turn, have an appreciation for her, even though she's, causing quite a bit of mayhem in the adventures that they're having. But especially when they finally get to the train part where she puts the djinn in there and she's speeding the train along, and everybody, or all the kids are quite fearful. But yeah, it's just good. It's really good storytelling, and everybody did a good job.
It's really interesting that they have her get so kind of affectionate with the kids, considering this is pre-redemption story arc. Like, it's almost like they're trying to lay some of that groundwork to show why she would even consider having a redemption, and be good for the doctor, other than being trapped in that cell for so long.
That might be.
It's almost like they're trying to like lay the groundwork of showing that it's within her character all along to occasionally not be so horrible, not necessarily be good, but not be so horrible.
Right.
That it's within her all along.
Yeah, that may be indeed what they're doing because there really is a gap in the Missy from the early Capaldi series to the Missy in the later Capaldi series. There's a gap of, okay, why did she get to this point that she wants to be a do-gooder? Why? I don't think we fully got the why she wants to change. And so I think you're right. They may be laying that groundwork.
And while she was kind of affectionate towards Clara, it was still always, she only hasn't killed her because it wouldn't be Clara's still being convenient for Missy in those stories where they're kind of buddied up together. And so it's kind of interesting to see this where the kids are a convenience, but then they kind of become a little bit more than that.
Yeah. She doesn't cast...
almost... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say she doesn't cast them aside for that, although we get the impression that that's what's happening because it's part of her plan to make sure that, was it Lucy, the girl, gets knocked off the train. So,
although she does drop them as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, yes.
It almost feels like she's auditioning.
Auditioning for...
a companion. If that was something that, Master had ever done throughout the long and arduous career, if, there was ever really a companion mode, it's almost on par with the Doctor auditioning. But in fact, there was a part of me that was quite fearful for the lives of these children as we went on, because I kind of suspected they were going to go all the way up to, all right, fine, you can come along with me, and we've spent such grand times together, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then I killed you on the doorstep, and no, I was just kidding.
All right, anything else on this one? Let's move on to the next one.
Divorced, beheaded, regenerated. Missy arrives in Tudor England, throwing the plans of another renegade Time Lord into chaos. King Henry VIII is on the throne, and aliens are stomping through the countryside. Missy just wants to be queen. And the monk? Once he knows who else is on the scene, he'll be glad just to stay alive.
I don't know that I have a ba big enough for this one.
As much as I enjoyed the first one, this one overshadowed it completely.
Yep. It was just like, where do you go with this? And this very rakish king open. They were like, yeah, bring your daughter out. Maybe I'll take a look at her. You. And it was just like, uh-oh. And I stayed away from the description, so I didn't know who these characters necessarily were. I mean, I suspected Missy. Her name's in the title. But I didn't know the meddling monk was in this one.
Me neither.
And so then when it was revealed that's who this was, it was like, oh God, this just reeks of this is going to be awesome. And it was. It did not disappoint at all. The chemistry and the wordplay and yeah, so much fun.
Well, it's funny because when he first goes in to meet the daughter, who turns out to be Missy, and he immediately recognizes her, I'm in my mind going, okay, when has Missy had an interaction with King Henry VIII? And are we going to get some backstory on that in this story? Or are we just going to have some clever mentions or some clever throwback, nods to it, last time we saw each other? And so I completely was in that mode of ready for this to have been King Henry VIII's second, meeting with Missy, only to find out that it was actually the meddling monk who goes to great lengths early on to say that he's been saddled with the monk title, only for her to point out the fact that, where did you end up? And he said, you wasn't in a monastery? And he says, no, it was an abbey.
Well, creativity isn't a high point when you're running for your life.
And then basically by the end of this thing, completely accepting it and just going with it. I mean, he even calls himself the meddling monk at one point later in the story. So, I mean, after all, I am the meddling monk. So
Rufus Hound does such a great job in the role.
Yeah, I would agree.
He really embodies, and then camps up the character of the monk.
Yeah.
From Peter Butterworth, from obviously the TV series, who can't return for the role.
Right.
And just the idea that, of course, the monk took off and hid during the Time War and was now, stuck again and trying to get out. It just, the whole story of what the monk's been doing and what he's trying to do in this story just fits within character so perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He is just so delicious, but never more so than when he genuinely believes he has the upper hand. When they get back to the castle and he's like, oh, I can't wait to be queen. I want this, I want that. Oh, and cats. I want a room full of cats. He's like, yes, that'll be nice. Arrest her. Take her off to the tower. What for? Treason, adultery. We literally came in the same carriage. When would I have time? I know.
It's so impressive.
I was listening to this while Mel was at work at Raylana's, and she came home and in the middle of it and was immediately concerned because I was laughing so hard during that exchange. Like I had gotten to the point where I was having trouble breathing because I was doubled up, just in stitches over it. And she was like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, it's a Doctor Who thing. And she was like, uh-huh. But just, when would I have time? I know. And it's such a great exchange, and the delivery of it, everything about it worked. And, God, I'm so not doing this justice.
Well, and all of the stuff the monk's trying to do to, become anachronistic and prove that, hey, you need to come take care of me, Time Lords, now that you're back. Come rescue me, down to, the wedding march and having written green sleeves and all sorts of other.
How do you not know green sleeves?
Singing that King Henry VIII song.
I'm King Henry VIII. I am. That was good.
You're just going to have to trust us on this one. Go and listen to this audio.
Oh, it is. It's so good. It's
such a hoot. This, I believe, is what we refer to in the vernacular as a romp.
So now,
the biggest of romps.
I do have to ask, because Missy makes the point to talk about the what are the Reapers, and since the Time Lords have been gone and then returned, there's been all kinds of chaos. The Reapers, the Vortex, anyway, all these different things that basically feed off of or repair paradoxes. And I'm assuming, because I never really got what these were, but I'm assuming the Grimoirians are another paradox, but they just seem to be coming along trying to preserve whatever. In this case, they're trying to preserve the king and his wife, but I never quite understand what their mission is and why they're here, or is because the monk has meddled here, is that what drew them to here? That's what I didn't quite understand. Maybe you guys could explain.
There was a line drop somewhere about how they capture and preserve the paradoxes and then feed off of them that way.
Okay. So they are another paradox parasite then. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just a bit more sentient.
And I presume it's because the monk has created this paradox that's happening. So, okay. Makes sense.
So he attracted, attention, just not from the Time Lord.
Right.
From the Grimoirians.
They did say that, I do remember them saying that they're attracted to anachronistic events. And so, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That was the only thing I sort of felt like I missed, was what exactly their MO was. But that makes sense.
Hey, when you go outside and wave the flashlight, you're going to attract mosquitoes.
That's true.
And then even down to those guys, the Grimoirians of, oh yes, we're going to preserve you, and oh yeah, this is going to be fine, and we'll just suck all the air out of the bubble, not realizing that it kills the beings inside of it.
Right.
it's obviously the entire story is done as a comedy, and they just do so well with it.
Very good. All right, well, we've come to that point in the podcast where we get to give away a special prize. Sean, tell us what we are giving away. Remind our listeners what we're giving away. So I get our wheel of fortune. No, wheel of choice ready.
Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. Show us the lesson that we should learn. That was an Animaniacs joke for those of you that didn't get it. We have, thanks to a friend of the show, Rick Cross, author extraordinaire, a copy of his lovely book, the Lethbridge Stewart Times Squared, which we reviewed previously on this cast and enjoyed immensely. You may remember this as having something to do with Robot Yeti in New York. And he has autographed us and sent it to us as a potential giveaway, which we said, yes, absolutely, let's give that away. And this is the new special edition, pretty cover, and includes the new short story, Maker, which ties into these events, which we have not yet reviewed, so we'll look forward to that. But one of you lucky people who followed instructions is going to get this awesome tome.
And we did have quite a few entries, and most of them came from Twitter. So we want to thank everyone that entered. And please, if you're new to the show, to the podcast, welcome. And we appreciate you here. Hopefully you found us this way online. And if you're just following us on Twitter, welcome as well. We're just happy to have you any way we can. All right, so we've got the wheel up here with all of the names on it, and we're going to give it a spin. And let's see if we can get a winner. And it looks like the winner is at TrainFan44. Obviously they're not their real name. That's their Twitter handle.
Did your parents not like you?
I guess I could probably say the name that he has because it's there on Twitter if you look for him. Looks like Connor McHale is our winner. So Connor or TrainFan44, we will direct message you and we will get the pertinent information to make sure that we get this out to you. And congratulations and thanks for playing.
Congrats, Connor.
Congratulations.
All right.
And yes, more giveaways to come. We've not emptied out the prize vault quite as of yet, so continue to listen. And I don't know. I feel like with this new season coming up, that maybe we should give away a Flux game.
Do we have one to give away?
I'll have to check.
Oh, cool.
But for our Flux representatives, if you're listening, we'd like to give away a tie-in promotional product for you.
Looney Labs, if you're listening.
And for anybody else that would like to donate product for us to give away for you, we'd be happy to do that. Just contact
More
Lauren.
than happy. That's right. All right. Well, what do we got coming up on the schedule, Sean?
Well, it's funny. The BBC kind of loaded up their scheduling shotgun and blew a great big hole in my plans. But it's a welcome one, so we're not going to complain too much. Yeah. We are going to come back a little sooner than expected to our weekly schedule and cover the second half of the Missy Series 1 box set next week. That will be Episode 3, The Broken Clock, and Episode 4, The Belly of the Beast from Big Finish. And then the following week, we will be back with some Titan comics. We're going to finish off the Missy run with issue 4, and then hit up the volume 3 of the 13th Doctor. So we'll get some 13th Doctor before the 13th Doctor debuts on our television screens. And then obviously the next 8 weeks will be all new series. So if you're looking for the new hotness, you found it.
All right. Very good. Well, of course, be sure to check out the website, drivingthevortex.com, for updates. And if you get any value out of this podcast, why not put some value back into it? You can do that on our Patreon link and consider supporting us. Also, please consider giving us a 5-star review wherever you subscribe to a podcast. And be sure to join in the conversation in our listeners forum on Facebook. Anything else we need to cover this week before we close? This will be a short one. If not,
we all liked it. They tend to be short.
They do. They are short when we don't like them. We have found that's true. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
No, I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you. Thanks for listening.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.